Hi, cutie. I would like to tell you about something I find fascinating, but you're going to have to get the context yourself because I don't want to be redundant. So if you do not currently know who James Somerton is, or you haven't seen his recent second terrible apology video, you should do that and then come back, because I want to talk about stuff that's different from the other people who've covered it. And so find out if you haven't seen it before and then come back, because I want to talk about stuff that's different. Specifically, I want to try and understand what on earth is going on in this man's head that he opened his mouth and let those words come on out and then hit publish, because isn't it fascinating to see that 47 minutes, yeah? If you had to give an apology, if I suddenly was James Somerton, right? Body switch time. My hair's different. My lighting's different. But could I give an apology that even with all of the credibility issues of James Somerton, that would be accepted? Yes, absolutely I could. Would everyone buy it? No. But could I, with all of the stuff in here, make an apology that would be believed? Yeah, easy. I'll do one if you want. Ask me and I'll do one. But he can't. This was the best he could do. Isn't that the most tragic thing you can say? That 47 minutes of self-justifying, meandering bullshit, 1/3 of which was an ad. That's his best attempt at an apology. That's him with 2 months to work on it. And I'm just deeply fascinated by what has to be going on inside someone for them to produce that. Not as an act of parody, but as a sincere thing that they think is going to work, that they think is effective. So we have the small side part that is clearly this is not a person with intimate friends, because they could have had a random friend, someone on the same floor as them that they just grabbed and pulled in and said, hey, can you watch this and see what you think? Okay, I'm going to stay on track. There's just so much. There's so many layers of what the fuck in here that I kind of get sometimes a little overwhelmed on where to start. But let's start with, I think, the easiest and kind of one of the most fundamental. Media analysis is a skill. It is a hard skill. It is a complicated and extremely cognitively demanding skill. Analysis of any kind requires you to engage with something deeply, like to really engage with it, not just do a superficial synopsis, but to really pay attention. And then to hold a bunch of those ideas from that in tension simultaneously and pull them aside and put them in relationship with each other and move them around in new ways and see if they can be recombined. Synthesize them with other ideas that aren't in that. Look at it in a big context. Look at it stripped of all context. Put a couple of the ideas together with an idea from over here and make a new thing. It's exhausting. Just this sheer act of holding that many things in your head simultaneously and then doing things to those ideas in order to create new perspectives and new ideas and new opinions is, in terms of cognitive load, one of the most demanding things you can do. It's a lot. And not everyone has that skill. And more importantly, and I think more relevantly, I don't think James has that skill, right? I don't think he has the capacity. I don't think he's learned how to do that, how to hold these ideas and play with them together, recombine them, like recontextualize, any of that. I'm not sure that he has that skill, but I'm damn sure, I guarantee he doesn't have the second part of that is just as necessary, which is the depth. Making opinions about something is a creative work that is created in large part from you. It's created from your opinions and your values and your prejudices and your ways of being. And like that kind of analysis isn't on a spreadsheet. It's a thing that happens inside you, out of your pieces. It's a skill that is built out of that external, thing that you're bringing in, the media, in fabric of you. You are not a tabula rasa on which ideas occur, on which opinions are formed. You're the chalk. You're everything in this. You are the foundation and a lot of the pieces by which critique is formed, by which analysis exists. And you'll see that in a whole bunch of the people that James stole from. There's some beautiful analysis of Mulan by a trans person that was informed by them. There was an analysis that was uniquely theirs because it came from their understanding. Right? That was built from them. And to do that, you've got to have a lot in you to build from. And I don't think James has that. I think inside him is just a couple of rudimentary parts. A couple of cogs and a little water hammer and not much else. He's shallow. He's superficial. And as a result, even if he has the skills, which I've seen no proof of, but even if he does, I don't think he can produce creative work. I don't think he can make things. I think theft was his only option. Along with some really basic lighting and framing, but I can do basic lighting and framing and I suck at those things. It's just there's some basic guides that say you should put it here and angle it there and blah, blah, blah. It's not creative. Not the way he's doing it can be, but person, thingy light, backlight, bisexual lighting in the background. It's not creative. It's a recipe. I don't know if he is capable of creative work because I don't think there's much going on inside him. And I think we saw that in truly staggering display, in unfortunately exquisite display, in terrifyingly clear display during this apology. This is the apology of a self-involved and very superficial person. He sincerely believes that the problem that if he could solve, people would stop shouting at him and be nice to him again, is that we don't understand and we don't have enough empathy. He doesn't get that we do. Having a mum with cancer sucks. My dad's going through cancer treatment right now. It sucks. Having a brain that doesn't work the way you want it to when you want it to sucks. Being under that constant, relentless pressure to produce sucks. We know that. We know that both logically and empathetically. And that's not the point, my guy. You are under pressure. And you think that if you explain the pressure, we will just go, crimes. Don't we all do crimes when we're under pressure? No, you still had a choice. And you chose to do the wrong thing. You were not at weapon point. Even if you were at weapon point, you still have choices then. They're not great choices, they're not fun choices, but they're choices. You could have chosen to go work at the sawmill. You could have chosen to do so many things that were not theft. And he doesn't. There's just such a disconnect that if my internal experience was really miserable, it's really hard being me. It's super hard being me. Yeah, bud. Sure as shit was. still did theft. Those two things can be true simultaneously, and he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. I still think that fundamentally he does not understand how crap what he did was, because he can't do it. So he doesn't get it. He doesn't get that stealing someone's opinions and ideas is personal. It's a violation. It's not just clickety-click. You didn't just steal my fucking spreadsheet, guy. You stole my way of seeing the world and said it was yours. And he doesn't understand that. He said something in his long laundry list of reasons that everything is very hard to be James and therefore we should just not worry about the crimes. He said in here something I audibly gasped. It is the most mind-boggling thing I've ever heard. He said that due to his memory issues, he was never sure which bits he wrote were his and which weren't. That. Sweetie, no. Sweetie, no. That's... No. I have written things. I have created things where I was not at my best. And so I do not remember creating them. I have whole paragraphs of text I do not recall writing. Interviews I've done where I just did not have the bandwidth to say things that were smart and to hear myself. And so I got to the end and I couldn't remember a single goddamn thing I said, but I hoped that it was smart. Because all my focus was going on the thing, right? But any time I encounter any of those later, under any circumstances, I know it was me. It smells like me. It's built out of my parts. It's unambiguously mine. You could put down 5 sentences, 4 of which I wrote and don't remember, and 1 of which is not mine, and I will tell you which one's not mine. Because I can reconstitute it from me. I can see how I got to saying that thing. It's mine. It's built out of me. And the fact that James can look at a line and go, meh, is the most tragic thing I have ever heard. And this is why I think he's just incapable of original creative work. I don't think he can do it. And I think if he is mad enough, foolish enough, unwise enough to continue down this ridiculous path of, I'm going to make my own stuff and prove you all wrong. Oh, buddy, you're going to find out. The reason you have no goodwill right now is not just that you burnt all our goodwill in a bonfire, although you did. It's not just the inaccuracies and the stuff about asexual people and all the rest and the good old misogyny. No. Small potatoes there. Teeny totos. No. The problem is you have never made anything good by yourself. You've never been a warm and kind presence that added value to the world on social media. You've never created something that was interesting or visionary or just kind of cool. You are a bullshit machine. And we can look at the bullshit machine and go, all you've made, all that we've seen you make is good stuff by other people. And when we take that away, what's left? Basic framing, competent editing. Okay? And he doesn't get it. I swear to God, he still thinks that he's some kind of like artiste. And I don't think think you can dislike anyone. I can't dislike anyone enough to wish unto them what is about to happen to him if he keeps trying to make it. Because no matter how locked into this narrative he is, no matter how bulletproof to reality he is, he gonna learn. He's gonna find out in the worst way possible that he has nothing to say that's worth listening to. And I'm sure that's heartbreaking. That sucks. Especially if you're a young'un going, I'm going to be creative, you know. But he isn't. There's not enough there. James, sweetie, just decided you're listening for some reason. James, take some time off. Go do some editing for someone else. Work at a sawmill, don't care what. Do a job. Pay your bills, pay people back, whatevs. Work on yourself. Learn genuine empathy. Learn how to really understand what you did. Learn how to see yourself accurately and to forgive yourself for all of your stuff and accept yourself as you are and learn better patterns to move forward with. Because right now, there's just not enough of you to make stuff. There's no there. And you're just going to blame all of the bad press, I guess. I mean, the thing that I find exasperating, and I also covet it a lot, is how fucking relentless he is, and people like him are. How immune to reality they remain. He will find ways, I suppose. Oh God, this has just occurred to me, this is the worst. He will find ways to blame outside forces, other people, whatever, for his new creative original work bombing that have nothing to do with the real fact that he's creating it and he's not good at this. And now he's our problem. Communally. We have to keep, warn the young'uns. The little baby queers, maybe. Or people who just missed the entire thing. Like, no, don't give this guy money. He's a bullshit machine. Yeah, I know this is a new project, but trust me on this one. Go and look at this and this and this. We have to do this work now. Because he won't stop. The machinery in him is rudimentary, but my God, is it resilient. And it's so different from my internal experience that it staggers me. He's showing us very clearly who he is. And who he is for many of us so alien. How? See, I was gonna say, how did he come to be like this? I've read enough psychology books to have some guesses. That's not really the point. It's just, why would you stay like this? Surely, in any of the long dark nights of the soul he's had, the opportunity has presented himself to be different, to change. And every time he's just looked at that and gone, no, I'm great as I am. Thanks ever so much. If only I wasn't so put upon and misunderstood. Oh, shit. Oh, it's fascinating. It's darkly fascinating and very, very exhausting to me. And he just keeps on. He can't stop. Just keeps on marching on, making the world slightly worse. I think that's what's going on. That's my best guess of what's going on inside him, is a huge need for praise and validation and, you know, his name on things and, you know, the feeling of I've made it, you know. Like, I get the feeling for him, it's a lot of it is about the name on the back of the chair instead of, you know, like, you know, that it is about those externalities, those superficial levels. He wants to have created without being a creator, I think. Like, he has this yearning and not a fucking chance of making it happen. Just none. Not without doing a whole bunch of work on himself that he won't do. And so, this endlessly churning machine. I think the water hammer is actually a really good metaphor. If you don't know what a water hammer is, on a water wheel, you know, one of those ones that's driven by a creek that just keeps turning. Grain, you know, you usually run mills and stuff on it. One of the things you can run off it is a hammer that just endlessly driven by the water flow goes kunk, kunk, kunk. It's not very fast, but you can, you know, like do a good bit of smithing on it. And that isn't that just the fucking metaphor of the day? This incredibly rudimentary machine powered by forces it does not understand and does not control. Endlessly driven around and around in circles, just making a hammer go up and down. It's exhausting. And can anyone rescue James from being just an ongoing, quiet public menace and presumably an extremely miserable man who never, ever accomplishes the stuff that he wants to accomplish and does not understand why? Because I'd love to think so. I'd love to think that it's not impossible, of course. Stranger things have happened. But generally speaking, we can expect him to just keep water hammering on into infinity while we just run around trying to stop people from putting their hand under the damn thing and getting it crushed. People are strange, aren't they? James making shitty apologies. Me making long analysis of shitty apologies because I just can't imagine being in the world like he's in the world, but he clearly is. He clearly is doing his thing. And I just fundamentally, I don't get it. I do covet that relentlessness, though. It would be really handy in a bunch of my life. But unfortunately, that single-mindedness is very incompatible with nuance and empathy and all of those other things. I have incompatible parts. Get a day job, James, and work on yourself. I don't know if you'll become a creative, but at least you might become less of a shit human. Because right now, you're a low-key shit human at least 4 out of 7 days a week. And you need to stop it, my guy. And, yeah. I hope this was interesting, relevant, useful, something. I just had to talk about it. It's so interesting to me. If you want me to do another one of these, where I talk about whatever event is like just bugging my brain and I don't understand it and I'm trying my best to understand what's going on inside the heads of people who are just not making any sense, let me know and I'll do it again because I enjoyed this. Frustrating is and hair-turning is this. And, you know, let me know if you want me to do a pretend what if James Somerton was good at apology, because it's not that hard. It's... well, I mean, I suppose I can sum up everything by saying it's not that hard for me. For James, he can waffle for 47 minutes and only just graze by the point for a minute and a half. But I suppose he can do stuff that I can't do. I don't look good in a turtleneck, I know that much. Anyway, look after yourself and look after your others. I will see you next time with something else I find interesting. Bye-bye.